Hello everyone, and many thanks for stopping by. In this video I'd like to give an account of the moon Mare and its characteristics. The seas, the lakes, the ocean, the sinuses, the bays, the marshes, sea of frigories, the sea of coal, Mare Serenitatis, the sea of serenity, Tranquillitatis, the sea of tranquility, Fecunditatis, the sea of fecundity, Mare Nectaris, the sea of nectars, Mare Nubium, the sea of clouds, Oceanus Procellarum, the ocean of storms. The names of these seas, the name of these bays and marshes and sinuses are Latin names, and they're probably given by the impression that astronomers had on these when they first look at those features, because they gave the impression of physical attributes of being cold or rainy areas, or a state of mind, tranquility, serenity. That's how they name them. And so they got this dark complexion or look, which is given by the concentration of fundamental raw materials and metals essential for sustaining a civilization on the moon, to live on the moon or under the surface. The seas, the diversity of seas and bays and marshes with certain characteristics and peculiarities to distinguish them. Some of them darker, some of them lighter. And today I like to concentrate my attention on the Sea of Tranquility, Mare Tranquillitatis. It is a mare which is enriched with titanium dioxide. Where there is titanium dioxide, there is helium-3, which is a fundamental ingredient or material for space travel, space exploration. Now, the Sea of Tranquility is a large basin which was formed many years ago by an impact, during Pregnatarian time, and then it was flooded by basaltic lava and pyroclastic glass, and that's why it looks like that's got glassy consistency or appearance. I mean, it's 300,000 square kilometers in area, so that's a huge area of a gently undulating surface, and it's got characteristics. It's got ridges, it's got rills, domes, islands, craters, and ejecta. And on the moon, the major concentrations of titanium dioxide is basically on Ocean Procellarum, Mare Nubium, Mare Imbrium, and the Sea of Tranquility. The ridges on the Sea of Tranquility are really big. A ridge is basically a chain of mountains or hills that have an elevated crest, and then it's got hills and slopes and a ridge line. And in the Sea of Tranquility, they range from 2 to 10 kilometers in width to even 100 kilometers in length. The rills are fissures, like channels on the moon surface. The domes are like rounded structures considered to be volcanic structures superimposed on the Mare basals. And then you got the islands or basement islands, which you see mostly on the margins of the sea, on the boundaries of the sea, and they part of the floor that were too high to be covered by the flats of Mare basalt. Craters are abundant as well on the Sea of Tranquility. Crater Plinius, for example, is 40 kilometers in diameter, and they're numerous in the western part of the Mare. Now, all these physical, this landscape of, ridges and rills and domes and islands, obviously it will make it difficult for humans to exploit, because you will need huge machinery to be able to extract the titanium dioxide, hence extract the helium-3. But for an advanced civilization, and if you look at my previous videos with an open mind, we came to the conclusion that these people already on the moon, humans and some other civilization, and they mine in the moon. They don't have the restrictions of gravity, so they can build huge, rigs or machinery to pull down the crater rims and, get the regolith and extract the helium-3 from the regolith. So they don't have that restriction. So, I mean, helium, as I explained in my previous video, is derived from solar wind, and is concentrated in the regolith, especially regolith, which is high in titanium dioxide, that's basically what the Sea of Tranquility has. Substantial areas of high titanium dioxide concentrate, regolith, is on the Sea of Tranquility. And basically 90% of the Mare is covered by this high titanium regolith. So, I mean, this explains why there is activity in between those seas on the moon, those sinuses, those lakes, those media, because there is a mining infrastructure taking place on the moon. They need planes to, space ships to, come down and get the raw materials, the helium-3, the calcium, the nitrogen, and to move it somewhere else. So going back and forth to different bases on the moon to get processed further. So that's why you see this activity, particularly on these areas. The Sea of Tranquility, Mare Imbrium, Mare, the Oceanus Procellarum, the Sea of Serenity as well. And it's because there is movement. They have to process those materials. Helium-3 is useful as a rocket fuel and as reducing agent for extracting oxygen and metals, so it's a byproduct. So, you exploit helium-3, with these big machineries, and on the floor of the seas, you disturb the regolith and find the helium-3, which is approximately 3 meters to 5 meters deep. And byproduct of this work is basically water, oxygen, nitrogen, which you then distribute through channels somewhere else. So it does make perfect sense. Now, if you have calcium and not nitrogen, then you support lunar agriculture. So when you look at those areas, those particularly the seas, you get close, you see vegetation, you see green. And in one of my previous videos, I came to the conclusion that because of the mining activity on the moon, there was a lot of dust being dispersed and propelled throughout the lunar surface, and that was one of the reasons for lunar obscurations, so you cannot see properly. But on second thoughts, it's not just the dust, because if the moon is being mined, if the seas are being mined, and the byproduct is oxygen and water, that means that the moon is being terraformed. That means that there is an actual atmosphere on the moon, which we haven't been told. So it's more than 1/6 of the Earth's atmosphere is actually a proper atmosphere, and as a result, you see clouds. So when you look closely with a high power telescope, 14-inch for example, you can actually see the clouds, movement on the clouds, and if there is cloud, it's rain. So that explains the greenery, the green hues, the vegetation that you see when you get closer. I mean, the Mare Tranquillitatis is 300,000 square kilometers. an area of which, you know, most of it is mineable or is being mined. You know, so it does make sense that you know, the importance of the Sea of Tranquility for space exploration, you know, for exploiting these metals and minerals and use them to support the infrastructure for scientific bases on the moon, for scientific and also industrial complexes, which, you know, the purpose is to, you know, terraform the moon and also to trade with other races, interstellar races. It's very interesting concepts, but you have to look at them with an open mind. You know, Einstein once said, condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance. So have an open mind, because there's a lot of possibilities out there, a lot of possibilities, a lot of things that are part of evolution. And once you gain knowledge, and I think the level of knowledge that we have on Earth is still low, but once you have the knowledge to do a space travel, that means that the grade of evolution that you have is advanced, because you reach a scientific level where there's no limitation on a space and time. You bend the space and time continuum to quickly travel and enrich yourself with the knowledge of other civilizations that are far more advanced than yours, but are interested in trade, are interested in helping you, are interested in collaborating with you. And, you know, on the moon you have things to sell. You got those precious materials, they fuel for space travel, they have the, you know, ingredients for space technology. That's more food for thought. But again, you need an open mind. We're not alone in the universe. And don't take my word for it. You know, buy a small telescope. Nowadays you can buy it on eBay for £200. And look at the skies yourself. Look at the moon yourself. And you realize that it's not a dead celestial body, but a living entity like Mother Gaia. Many thanks for watching.